What do you know? What do you like? How do you use them?
Yeah, I would say number one, you have to have a professional account to use any type of analytics, right? So I don't forget what they call it. It's a business account, a professional account, something like that. I think they even have creator accounts now. It's all kind of the same deal, right? At least the way I understand it. But that like unlocks insights for you. So I've talked about it before, and then people are like, well, I don't have that button. Where is it? So that's the first step, right?
Okay.
Professional account. And then, past that, I think the biggest thing you can take away is it's just data that you can use to make decisions, right? So, and practically any decision related to social media, right? So, who's interacting with your content, their age range, where they are, what time they're most active, right? So you can use that information to plan out if you're scheduling posts, when to do them. If you're not scheduling them, when you got to get up and do it, or make time to block. That target market, age range, demographics. So I can see, I went in there today and I think a lot of people who interacted with my last post was 25 to 34 or something, right? So now next time I know, I can tailor, maybe incorporate elements that will be good for that
music
group of people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
house music. Put it on there. And maybe it might be different, right? So it's, and that's the biggest thing with marketing, kind of how we started was understanding that goal, right?
Yep.
And who you're talking to, and tailoring it to them.
Yes.
So the insights really that's what you can do, right? You can figure out who's in your sphere, who's looking at this stuff, and how can I optimize what I'm doing for them, kind of thing.
How often do you look at analytics for Spar?
Sometimes it's weekly. Most of the time it's monthly, because I like to look at a period of time.
Okay.
Because I especially watch what time are people interacting with us, because it changes all the time. At one point it was 9 a.m. for a month straight. And then at some points it's been 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock, noon, right?
Different days of the week, or does it get that specific?
No, Sendable doesn't get that specific. I wish it did. But it just compiles when they're on average. And then a lot of social media management platforms will have a optimized posting times. So you can click it and it'll automatically run through and be based on previous posts that have been posted this day, or based on X amount of days of activity, this is the best time if you're going to post this today. And Hootsuite will actually give you best days to post as well.
Okay.
And same thing with, Meta Business Suite. They'll also tell you what are the best days that you're going to receive engagement based on when people are typically seeing your content. So having those tools, I really watch that. I also really watch how many people it reaches too. And typically, your reach is going to vary. And I have this beef with Facebook that they are really inconsistent about what actually constitutes as being able to show to more people. So Facebook, I've had posts that have had more engagement and seen by less people than a post that has half the engagement but got seen by more people. And I have no idea. I know I'm supposed to be the expert on this topic, but that's sometimes you're going to run into stuff like that, and you just have to be okay, well, I tried. But having what your key metrics are and what you consider success.
Sure.
So we call those KPIs, key performance indicators. So whether that's if my post is not getting, on average, your posts get 5, likes, or 10 likes, or 20 likes, whatever it is. If that's your average, then okay, well, if I get a post that's under that, well, that content didn't do well.
Right.
And ask the question why. And then that's when you can go to the analytics. Was it the time I posted? Was it content, or the specific content? If it's a video, look at the time that they clicked off. Those are the kind of things. That's where a lot of the time suck comes in.
Yeah, figuring it out.
Analytics. And if you are a really analytical person, there are people who just have jobs analyzing marketing.
Absolutely.
Just doing the analytic stuff behind it, right? There's a creative side and there's an analytical side. So if you're really into that, go ham, right? Put as much time as you want to. But understanding what you view as success and what your goals are is going to help you determine what within the analytics is actually important to you, right? So if you're someone who you use a lot of stories, okay, well, best posting times, you're going to want to check Facebook of when do most people watch my stories, right? Or when do I normally see people actively posting stories or stuff like that? Because then that's what you're really focusing on.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's hard to be specific
Yeah.
when it's all based on what you're wanting to set as your standard.
Absolutely. Well, and like Dan said, you could do the same thing over and over, and then suddenly it doesn't work anymore.
Yep.
Maybe they change their algorithm.
They do.
With Instagram, they change it like every week at this point.
It's amazing.
So we just don't know. You just have to keep trying.
And with that, just keep doing what you're doing then. Like, if you are not able to pin down why the algorithm keeps changing, don't change yourself. Like, just continue to produce what you want to produce, because then it's going to be fun. And even if not a ton of people are seeing it, maybe at one point it will blow up, right? Like that one post I did on my personal Instagram. I just posted like some photos that I had done in Chicago over a year ago and was like, hey, I'll post these as a reel. And didn't really do well the first like few weeks. And then a month later it blew up. So something changed in the algorithm, right?
More people saw it. So just because there may be people listening or watching that they are kind of newer to social media. So can you just quickly define, because we've talked a lot about, impressions or engagement or
I always forget to do that.
Things. So just what are those different things on the different platforms and what do they really mean?
So impressions and reach are kind of synonymous, right? For the most part.
Yeah. So reach is how many actual individuals you reached. Impressions is how many times it was actually seen. So you can have one thing seen by the same person multiple times. Happens a lot when you actually do ads, right? So that's why that number is typically bigger, because you're like, well, it says I reached this amount of people, but then why is that higher? It's two different things. One is reach is this is how many actual people saw it, right? So let's say that's 500.
So like unique visitors.
Yes, unique visitors. Okay. And every platform calls them differently. So I'm just going with Facebook right now.
Go for it.
And then impressions is how many times that's been seen by all of those people. So that could be 600.
So I'm counted as one reach.
Yep.
One unique person, visitor, looker, whatever. But every time I scroll back to it on my phone, it's more impressions.
Yep. Because if you go back to that, and that really happens a lot with video, is like going back to stuff, especially on TikTok. Or if you are running ads and that ad keeps being showed to someone because maybe they clicked on the ad, like maybe they did something other that it was like, well, you look like you're probably going to, right? So that's why it showed it to that person again.
Okay.
What are some of the other ones?
Well, engagement, right? Likes, comments.
Yep.
Saves, I think that would go into it for a lot
Reshares.
So some kind of activity with that post.
Right. You've actually
just doing something
taken
with
an
it.
action.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And like Luke said, these can be like different, right? They can
on
change
all the different
what they measure as what. And like one thing that I always like to say about the social media services is you have to almost look at them like a business, right? And like we're kind of going back to the other thing, but like they're a business that wants you to stay on that.
Yep.
Using their service, right?
Yep.
So understanding that, like the algorithm explicitly changes all the time, right? They're trying to say, oh, well, if people are liking your content, you're making good content, so we're going to show your content to more people. So it keeps people on the
that makes
service,
sense.
and then we can sell stuff to them, right?
Yep.
But like, it's hard to. They're just trying to tweak that algorithm to keep you there longer, right? So that's why, like Luke said, with the consistency, we're never going to fully understand the exact source code and how, a like exactly correlates to a comment, or what a save does in relation to a like or maybe a view. But it's just they're trying to plan it out to keep people there,
right?
And try to decide what people find value in that will keep them.
No, that makes sense.
And if your content isn't being seen by people, it probably means it's not good. Like if you don't have anyone watching it and you've been doing it consistently for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and it's not doing anything, if you're still liking it, keep going. But then you got to ask, why is no one watching this? Probably because there's other content that's better than that. Because everyone is producing content now. In the early days of the internet, it was easy to get found because not everyone was doing it. Now everyone and their mother is doing it, right? So there's so much out there. So it has to decide what it wants to show people. And like Dan said, it's only going to show the best of the best of what is going to keep you on the platform. And that goes into, there's actually different kinds of algorithms and how it decides it shows content to you, which that gets really complicated. But there is a interest-based, and then there's also a relationship-based method. And Instagram is losing right now because it's not an interest-based one. And they are, well, you follow these people, so therefore you're going to like this post that this person who you follow liked.
But that's not always the case.
But it's not always the case. So that's why for a long time, you'd get the same type of reel trend 7 to 10 times in a row, which is why I stopped using reels for a while and watching them, because I would be like, I don't need to see, oh, this is I don't need to see it 20 times in a row. Yeah. And so you would leave. And that's why they've consistently changed it every single, it feels like week, is because they're trying to play catch up and move away from that to more interest-based. That's my theory. I don't know for sure because, they're not going to tell us, but that's what my theory is, because they have guidelines on their website that say this is how you get the most impossible reach, right? Here's the best practices to follow. And one of those is sharing and, making things that they kind of delved into how they rank things. Yeah. And then with TikTok, they are only showing you what you want to see. It's only interest based. Right. So that's why your number of followers doesn't matter at all. Right. Where it matters on Instagram, doesn't matter on TikTok. So that's a little sidetrack on basically saying that the algorithms are different. Go watch a ton of videos on it. There's a lot of different theories if you want to know more. But if you don't want to get complicated, just do something.
Just do what you like.
Yeah.